rewind, 2021. There was a parade in my city. Number one pick, dancing in the street. Everybody was hitting the gritty. Kid arrived in the D, and it was live as can be. They can ball, but we didn't want Green, Mobley, or Scotty B. When he got hurt, everyone lost it. Storylines leaking, no faucet. Caught him wash when he broke his tibia. All the haters come to get it really, Everybody wanna be Skip Bayless. Wanna throw shade, okay, say less. Dudes went number one for a reason. It'll click by the end of the season. When he wins most improved player. Gonna be a movie, here's the trailer. Don't say I didn't try to warn ya. Co-signed by Win Benyamin.
Cade Cunningham.
He was raised in Texas, but now he's Detroit flexing. Team USA, he was killing them. Got him effed up, let me quote Eminem. Nowadays, everybody wanna talk like they got something to say, but nothing comes out when they move their lips. It's a bunch of gibberish and money lovers act like they forgot about Cade. Nowadays, everybody wanna talk like they got something to say, but nothing comes out when they move their lips. It's a bunch of gibberish and money lovers act like they forgot about Cade.
Forgot about Cade, they forgot about Cade. Forgot about, how you forget about Cade?
What's going on, y'all? Give me 1 second. My camera just came unplugged, so just hang on for me for 1 second, y'all. I am going to try to get this up and running. Just bear with me. It just went out, so I just got to fix this. My apologies, y'all. Give me 1 second. Y'all go ahead and put them W's in the chat for me in the meantime, between time. Just give me 1 minute. We'll get this right back. All right, y'all. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna reset this stream, and we're gonna come right back. Okay. My mic came out on me and it's not letting me reconnect it while we're live. So just bear with me and we'll be right back on. All right, my bad. Y'all got me? Let me know if I'm here. Let me know if we live. Just want to do a quick test, 1, 2. Somebody let me know in the chat if we good. I think we straight. Just want to make sure before I get started. Somebody let me know. All right. My apologies, fam. Little technical difficulty there, but it is not going to stop the show because y'all know how we get down. So let me start with this. Detroit basketball. Yes, sir, man. Had to get that out the way. Every time we get a dub, I got to do that. Just for y'all. Just for y'all, man. But look, listen, let's check it out, man. Pistons win again. Second straight game. Second in a row over the Chicago Bulls. 127-119 in a matinee game today. I think today was Kids Day at LCA. So for those who were there, I'm sure you guys all enjoyed that. And I'm glad the kids got a chance to witness a dub. And so now the Pistons move back above 500 on the season at 25-24. And Isaiah Stewart also returned from his 1-game suspension. So initial thoughts. So let's get into it. But before I do that, let me do this. Let me say thank you to everybody who was here Welcome everybody who shows up to the Downtown Do show tonight. I appreciate all you guys showing up and showing out. I see all the W's in the chat. We are going to talk about why those W's are in the chat. A lot of good things to talk about here. What's going on, Doug? I see you, bro. What's going on, Omar? Ayo, Marvin's World. Devin, Phantom of Darkness. What's going on? Daquan, what's good? Ryan, what's up? Everybody, what's good, man? We're going to get to this guy right here in a second, Devin. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So, you guys know the drill. As I'm giving you my initial thoughts, let me know what you guys are in the chat, and we will go ahead and go from there. So, today, matinee game, right? In this game, the first thing I noticed in this game was that the Pistons had a major size advantage, right? And they took advantage of that. I think the Bulls started 4 guards tonight, and the only big they really had all game was Vucevic. He was the only true big on the court for the Bulls. And the Pistons, unfortunately, did not start well tonight. They did not start either half tonight. They got punched in the mouth in the beginning of both halves. In the first and third quarter, they were the ones that were calling the first time out. And one thing we always talk about here is that you have to play 4 quarters, rather, right? You got to play 4 quarters. You can't play half a quarter or, half a game. You got to come out strong. And you got to play. You're not going to always play 48 minutes, full tilt, high motor, execution, flawless free, right? But if you can play as close to 4 quarters as you can, 42 minutes out of 48, even 40 minutes out of 48, but starting the half off like this, the way they have in the first and third quarter, like they did tonight, is not a recipe for success. And they were able to recover and take control of the game both times because they're playing the Bulls, right? They're playing a team that they're better than. No shade to the Bulls, but the Pistons are better than the Bulls. As of right now, they're better. They're a better team. Even without Jaden, they're a better team. So they got away with it tonight. But if they want to really contend in the playoffs and for the playoffs, they got to get off to better starts because teams are not going to allow them, playoff teams are not going to allow them to have such bad starts. Whether it's just the first quarter or the first and third quarter, you can't have bad starts like that and just think you can call timeout and then finally get into your stuff and get into your action, get into your style of play and be able to just come back. Like I said, tonight they could do it because they were playing a team that they were better than. Going forward, they are not going to be able to do that and expect to win games. Okay, so that's the bad, right? Let's get to the box and let's talk about some of the guys tonight that really played well. First things first. All 5 Pistons scored in double figures tonight. The Pistons had 7 guys tonight who scored in double figures. And I thought this was going to be more so of an offensive game simply because the Bulls are first in points and first in points allowed. They score a lot and they give up a lot. That's why they had 119 and we had 127 in regulation. That's just how they play. They don't really have a great defensive team. They're a scrappy team, but they're not a great defensive team and they're small. Like I mentioned, they've started 4 guards with Vucevic. So let's start with our all-star, Cade Cunningham, right? Cade had 22 points, 15 assists. Wow. 3 rebounds, 1 steal, 1 block, only 3 turnovers on 10 for 23 shooting, 2 of 6 from 3, 0 from 1 from the free throw line in 34 minutes. So the first thing that jumps out to me, obviously, in this game for Cade is the assists. 15 assists. And I'm looking at the ratio, right? One thing I always talk about is the assist to turnover ratio, right? And for me, anything above a 2-to-1 is good, right? You don't ever want to have a 1-to-1, but anything 2-and-1 and above is solid. 3-and-1 is good. 4-to-1 is great. Anything above 4-to-1 is amazing. And tonight, 5-to-1, 15 assists, 3 turnovers. So once again, like we talked about it, the game is slowing down for Cade, right? He's beginning to see more and more reps of more and more defensive schemes and is getting to a point now where he understands exactly what he's looking at. And now he can make decisions a lot more decisively, right? He's not as much thinking anymore. He's basically just reacting to what the defense is doing because he's seen it before. And it's getting to a point now to where he is making look-away passes, like we talked about last stream, right? You're not doing this and this unless you're comfortable with what you're looking at and you understand what's coming. So Cade continues to show that he's getting better and better. The game is slowing down more and more, and his decision-making is getting better and better. And he's doing it all under control, all within the flow of the offense. He never looks like he's sped up. He never looks like he's getting pressure to a point where he's making a quick decision that's leading to a turnover. He's not jumping in the air with the ball and getting lost. He's not doing those things anymore. His turnovers have come way down and his assist count have gone way up. And doesn't it look like he's just kind of coasting? Even though he's not. It's got kind of that Luka feel to it, right? Which, speaking of Luka, we'll get to that too. But it's got that Luka feel where he's just kind of just, I'm playing my game and it's just me and some cones here and I'm going around the cones and I'm just making the right play. He doesn't look bothered. He doesn't look bothered at all. And that's what I love. So that type of thing is only going to improve because as he continues to see it more and get better and develop more chemistry with his guys and get stronger, understanding like he's just going to continue to get better and better, especially out of that pick and roll. So Cade played great tonight. Also, defensively, he played great individual defense. Like he's doing a great job now of moving his feet and playing with his feet and not with his hands, not swiping down at the ball because he's out of position. He's playing great individual defense by moving his feet. But one thing I did mention, or that I did notice, once again, when Cade goes to the bench, the Bulls go on runs and they take leads. More so in the first half than the second half. Second half, we got more production off the bench, but you can still see the Pistons are still struggling to find that offensive consistency, right, when Jaden's out. And that's exactly why I was a fan, and I'm still a fan of trading for Lonzo Ball, right? Because we saw tonight, he plays solid. He can run the offense for you. When Cade sits down, he can run the offense. He's a good defender. He's a good shooter. He's a great facilitator, and he's a great orchestrator of the offense. That's all things he did tonight, and that's all things that he will be able to do for the Pistons with Jaden out. So that's still a move with 4 days left that I still hope the Pistons make if they can make it or something like that. Because once again, the Pistons, you can see they're trying to all shoulder the load when Cade goes to the bench as far as running the offense and manufacturing offense, right? Whether it's Tobias or whether it's Bees or Sass, all guys who are not point guards, all guys who are not facilitators, but all guys who can in a pinch. So if all those guys can do it in a pinch, they're all trying to do it in a pinch at different times. You know what I mean? They can't all shoulder that load themselves. And so the Pistons have tried to do that in Jaden's offense. And with that, though, you're going to see, because it's hard to be consistent that way, you're going to see until Jaden comes back or until we get a backup point guard, you're going to see times when the offense just kind of stagnates. There'll be times when it was great. And like in the second half, it was a lot better. But you're going to see times when you're up and down with it because they're still developing an understanding and the chemistry of how to do that together. So that's something that the Pistons have to continue to keep an eye on. It's just kind of what it looks like right now with Cade, with Cade going to the bench and Jaden being hurt. It's just it's going to be that way for now. And unless we get a backup point guard, it's just going to be that way. But they did a solid job. One more thing on Cade, man. He continues to get hacked over and over and over again. And the refs still are not really giving him a favorable whistle. There was a play in the first half, you guys probably saw it, when Cade was at half court. And the official was standing right there. The official was standing right there. And Kobe White is reaching, right? Cade's got a post type of posture. Right? He's got the ball. He's not facing the defender. And he's like this. And Kobe White is hacking him over and over again. And the ref is standing right there. He's standing right there looking at it. And Cade is literally talking to the ref, saying, bro, he's hacking me. He's hacking me. So he literally didn't call it. So Cade said, forget it. So Cade tries to go, he switches his hands with the ball and tries to make a move. He gets hacked again, and then he fouls him. And then the foul is called. Like, I don't understand what is happening. The ref is literally standing right there. It wasn't until ref turned his back to the ref that the ref called the foul. Like, if you can call it then, why are you not calling it when you are point blank looking at his arm hitting my chest? I didn't understand what was going on. And there were a lot of plays like that tonight. Asar got hacked a few times tonight. It should have been a few and ones where he was going to the bucket and got hit, finished. Ref is standing right there. He lands on the floor and he's side-eyeing the ref because she's right there and not calling it. It was crazy. It was crazy, man. But despite that, they were able to play through it. I like that they played through it, right? They didn't allow the officials to take them out of the game. That's important because the way I'm old school, so I'm never going to blame a game on refs or officials. I do recognize it when it's there, and tonight it was there. But the Pistons are getting to a point where it's like, let's not rely on the refs to win this game for us. Let's play through contact, right? Let's continue. Let's not expect a whistle. Let's not try to draw a whistle. Let's not try to bait guys into whistles. And then, because if you don't get the whistle, you're not focused on the shot. So the likelihood of you getting an and one drops if you're focused on the whistle. But if you're focused on making the shot regardless, and then you get the and one, now it's a bonus. But with that being said, they still got to get a better whistle. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying make sure the focus stays on just playing basketball and let the whistles come as they will. Because as you win more games, you'll get more respect, and then officially you'll get more calls. And it takes time. There's always a delay when it comes to respect. When the Pistons in the 2000s, when they were starting to get better, because they were bad in the 90s, in the late 90s, they were bad. So it took time for them to consistently be a good team for them to get more love from the officials. There's always a delay. It's not as soon as you hit a 5-game winning streak, and as soon as, for us, we can tell when our team is getting better. When our team turns the corner and they're getting over the hump, we can see it right away. Like right now, it's happening. We can see it right away. But around the league, there's always a delay because teams aren't paying attention to teams that are not good. They only pay attention to when teams are good. And you only get media attention when you're consistently good. So once the media hits and then the fans get wind of it, and then the refs pay more attention, that's how it works. It just takes time. There's always a delay when it comes to getting better calls or getting a respectable whistle. So the Pistons, don't worry about it. Just keep playing. Keep winning. Keep getting them dubs so we can keep putting W's in the chat, right? Just keep winning games. And eventually, they'll start getting foul calls. And sometimes you'll get foul calls you're not supposed to get, right? So I just wanted to say that the whistle was terrible tonight, but they got to continue to play through it, play your game, play solid basketball, and you do that, you'll be fine. But with that, K played solid tonight, man. He played a really, really good game, a really good orchestrated well. He just was the floor general. Under control, run your offense, get your guys involved, play under control. He did everything tonight. He was great. What's going on, Doug? I appreciate it, man. Please, no trade core guys. Best chemistry since Bad Boys. Ooh, since the Bad Boys. Wow. So, Doug, even better chemistry since the 04 team? Because the 04 team had some tremendous chemistry, bro. With Ben and Sheed and Tayshaun and Rip and Chauncey. And then the bench guys with Lindsey and Mike James and Corliss Williamson and Mehmet Okur. All those guys, even Tremaine Folks, he was a little part of that, even though he didn't play much. But I hear you, though. The chemistry is great. I don't know if it's better than 04. I wouldn't go that far. But I hear what you're saying as far as the chemistry being there. I would say this. The chemistry now is as good as it's been since 04. I'll definitely say that much. And I don't just mean wins or losses. Just the way these guys play for each other and want to win for each other. And then seeing in the locker room how these guys get along. Passing of the belt. And just, with Coach, the Pistons are doing their Lions thing now where they got cameras in the locker room after wins. And they're all coming together and galvanizing. So I think it's the best chemistry-wise I've seen in 20 years. And I think it's only going to continue to get better. It's crazy to say that, but it's really been that long. Appreciate you, Doug. Mr. Ma City, what's up, bro? We countered everyone tonight, just like last game. If we can do it again tomorrow, we will see Pistons basketball this month for sure. Yeah, so the Pistons finished the month of January 10-6. First winning month, and I don't know how long. It's been a long time. Long time. I think I talked about it a few videos ago. I forgot how long it's been, but bear with me. But yeah, it's been a long time since the Pistons have looked this good. I do think they'll win tomorrow as well, Ma City. I think they'll get the dub tomorrow. I think they're a better team than the Hawks. Right? You may see Trae Young chucking up shots, trying to prove that he should have been an all-star, which I think works to our advantage. Because if he tries to beat us by himself, they're not going to win. So I think the Pistons are going to come together tomorrow, the same way they did today. Play team basketball. When you can get balanced scoring like this, and the defense is playing the way it is, the Pistons are hard to beat, right? But they have to make sure, like I said, they get off to good starts. They do that, they'll win tomorrow. Appreciate you, my city. All right, man. Let's get back to this box score. Tim Hardaway Jr., how did Tim do tonight? Tim wasn't crazy as far as box score, but he was solid. Like I said, Tim Hardaway does what Tim Hardaway usually does. He comes in, team player, gives up his body. He had what should have been 2 more charges tonight, right? One of them they didn't call, but he's always giving his body up. Tim Hardaway is a team player. He had 12 points tonight, 1 rebound, 1 steal, 1 block, 1 turnover, 5 for 10 from the field, 1 for 4 from 3, 1 for 1 from the free throw line, 27 minutes. Tim Hardaway never takes more than 10 shots, guys, a game. This is the second time in a row he's had only 10, but before that, he's had 8, 6, 7, 9, 5. Like, he doesn't take a lot of shots. And that's great because that means, once again, even though he's the shooting guard, the way this team is made up, we don't need a ton of shots from him. So he's playing very efficient basketball. He's been shooting better than 50% for the past couple of weeks, I think, here now as well. And he's not shooting us out of the game. He's not taking bad shots. He's playing good defense, sound defense. He really does understand his role on this team. And that's what sometimes veterans, even when they're new to a team, they can adapt pretty quickly and give you consistency pretty quickly because they've done what they're doing now elsewhere. This is what Tim Hardaway Jr. was doing when he was with Dallas. The same thing he's doing now, right? Just playing within the flow of the offense, playing his role, playing really good defense, setting the example for his teammates as far as how to play defense, as far as giving up your body. Because like I always say, if you take the lead as a veteran and you're giving your body up and you're playing hard and you're diving on the floor and doing all these different things, that's going to signal to the young guys, hey, I should be doing that too. That's why you got guys like Ron Holland and Asar Thompson and all these different guys doing the same thing, because they're seeing the vets lead by example. So Tim Hardaway Jr. continues to be very, very steady. Very, very steady for this basketball team, man. I'm loving what we're getting from Tim Hardaway Jr. And he's doing just enough. He's doing just enough for this team. So really good game from Tim Hardaway Jr., man. Really solid. Okay, let's get to Asar Thompson. Asar Thompson had 12 points, 7 boards, 3 assists, 1 steal, 6 for 9 shooting in 22 minutes. So once again, Asar didn't play a ton of minutes, right? He had 22 tonight, but he had 12 points. So he was pretty efficient tonight on 6 for 9 shooting. And I like Asar because of his ability. I said it before, but I'm going to say it again. When he is able to grab the board, I want him to push the ball every time. Every time he grabs a rebound, a defensive rebound, I want him to push the ball. I don't care if Cade is with him. I don't care if Jaden, when he comes back, is with him. I don't care who is on the court with him. When he's on the court and he's able to push the ball, that is very lethal. Because here's what I mean by that. When you grab a rebound and you push a ball without looking left or right, you don't have to pause to try to find an outlet to pass the ball to. Because when you do that, you grab the board, right? Now, 1 second, 2 seconds. Now you're looking and now you find your point guard. Okay, fine. That 1 or 2 seconds gives the defense more time to set their defense up. But when you grab the rebound and you just push, right? That gives them less time to set their defense up, because that small window of time when you're looking around trying to find your point guard is gone. You grab it and you're going. Now they have less time to set up. And then when you are Asar, a guy who is as speedy and fast as he is, like north and south, that gives the defense even less time to set their defense up. So once again, it doesn't, and I love it too, because whenever he grabs the board, Cade isn't even looking for the ball. Cade's running down court. Same thing with J.I. When J.I. would play with him and Asar grabs the board, you don't see J.I. going like this. J.I.'s like, okay, he's good. I'm running down the court. I'm getting on the wings. Because if you're open on the break with Asar's speed, he's going to find you. So I love that about Asar. Not a lot of guys in the league can play as big as he does on the boards as a wing and go north and south with the basketball. There's maybe only a few guys, including his twin brother, who can do that as well as him. And he's very uncanny in his ability to do that. And that just gives us so many easy shots. But DG, I agree with you 100%. He has to work on not fumbling the ball when he's driving. But I don't even mean really driving. I just mean just pushing the ball up court, right? He doesn't always have to look for the shot when he gets past half court. Just get the ball past half court, because it makes the defense harder. Because now you got cross matches. You got guys just trying to find a body because you're scrambling when you're pushing so quickly. Okay, fine. And when you're just trying to find a body, you got mismatches. So if he pushes the ball past half court, he may have JD under the hoop with Kobe White, because they were trying to scramble and they're just trying to find bodies. You know what I mean? Or you may have Vucevic on the perimeter with Cade. Now Cade can get to the basket or get to what he wants to get to, or find somebody else who also has a mismatch. So that's the importance of Asar when it comes to just pushing the basketball. Just put pressure on the defense. It's gonna give you something more times than not. Whether it's for him or somebody else, it's gonna give you a mismatch or easy shot potentially. So Asar's ability to do that is very, very good. And that's something that's very, very important for this team. So Asar plays solid, man. Let's get to Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris, man, 16 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks. Man, he's filling the stat sheet. 8 for 15 shooting, 0 3 from 3, so he couldn't get the 3-ball going. 0 for 1 from the free throw line in 34 minutes. So, guys, Tobias, man, I got to give him credit. We said the last game, right? Last game, he looked really good. The last game he was scoring, but he was also doing a lot of the little things that he was doing tonight. First play of the game. First play of the game. Swatted Kobe White shot out of bounds. He had a few of those tonight. In the last few games, he really has been engaged defensively, and he's been doing a lot of the same things he did tonight, right? He also rebounded very well, and he took advantage and punished smaller defenders, man. That's where most of his points came from, was in that painted area, because like I said, the Chicago Bulls started Vucevic at center. Everybody else was a guard. So Kate was in the post. Tobias was in the post. Everybody was in the post because it was nothing but guards on the court outside of Vooch. And now we're seeing Tobias as well taking on more playmaking responsibilities with J.I. being out, right? We're seeing Tobias more so in the pick and roll now with J.D. It's not just Cade anymore. We saw Tobias run the pick and roll action with J.D. for a lob dunk, right? In the beginning of the season, that was only Cade. It was only Cade doing that. Then you see a little bit of J.I. doing it before he got hurt. Now we're seeing Tobias. So this is why you got to give these guys time. You got to give these guys time to practice with each other. So that way you can have multiple guys who can do multiple things, right? Now that makes it harder to defend. So Tobias continues to play well the last few games. I think this is his second or third straight game where he's giving you this type of production. And once again, like I said, 15 to 20 from Tobias is all I'm looking for, point-wise. 15 to 20. Anything else is great. The blocks, the steals, the rebounding, give it just a little bit of that to go with the points consistently, I'm good, right? That's the Tobias Harris that we need for the rest of the season if we're really going to make a push in the playoffs. And he delivered once again. So Tobias, again, shout out, bro. I got to give it up. Okay, let's get to our last guy, Jalen Duren. You ready for this? 21 points, 13 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, only 1 turnover, only 1 foul on 9 for 11 shooting, 3 or 4 from the free throw line in 30 minutes. So first things first, free throw shooting continues to be a strength for him. He went 3 or 4. The only one he missed popped out, rimmed out. He could have easily been 100% again tonight. The past month, he's been shooting over 85% from the free throw line after shooting 58% at the beginning of the season, right? So that's one major area where he has gotten much better. But JD, man, double-double, 21 and 13, 9 for 11 shooting. And he shot 9 for 11 because he played within his scope. Like I always say, he's playing more and more within his scope. He's not doing things that are out of character. He did a little bit. He was handling the ball a little bit. He did have a nice drop-off pass to Tobias, which was nice. It was a nice play. If he does that every now and then, when it's there, okay. Just don't make a habit of it to thinking you're the guard. And he has done a good job of not doing that. I'm not saying he did, but he's done a really good job of not doing that. But what he's focusing on are the things that he needs to focus on. Sprinting hard to the rim off of a miss, right? Getting good position in the paint when it's available. Crashing the offensive glass offensively. Getting easy buckets. Getting tap outs for extra possessions. If you notice, he's doing more and more of the things that we praise Isaiah Stewart for doing. If you notice, right? The small things, the incremental things, he's getting better and better and better. He's not there yet, but just compare this matchup against Vucevic to last matchup against Vucevic, and you'll see a very stark difference, right? To Vucevic usually gives him a ton of problems, and there were a few times tonight where he did leave him open slightly for a 3 out of a pick and roll, but it was nothing how it was before, to where the last time the Pistons played the Bulls, Vucevic was pulling for 3 and JD was under the rim, right? Like just not even being aware of his assignment, a lack of being focused, a lack of focus. That was not the case tonight. JD was locked in and loaded and he was focused. He made mistakes, yeah. Vooch is a good player, man. That's a tough cover, especially for, when somebody who can stretch the floor like that and play inside. But JD played much, much better tonight on Vooch than he did last game. Vooch tonight had 20 points, right, and 10 boards. But JD had 21 and 13. So if anything, he made it a wash, right? I can live with that. I can 100% live with that because our team is better than their team. So if you cancel those two guys out, we're going to win the game. You know what I mean? Especially the way that our guys are playing right now. So I got to give JD credit again because he continues to show progress. And that's all I ask for is incremental growth. Incremental growth. Get better and better and better because we know what a ceiling can be, right? It's just going to take time for him to get there. But he did a lot of great things tonight, man. He does need to work on staying down on pump fakes. Last game, he didn't jump at any pump fakes. Last game, he was just like this. He played big. Tonight, a few times, Vooch caught him on a pump fake, for a hook, stuff like that. But that's going to happen sometimes. But overall, JD played great again. And he's beginning to show more and more what he can be. Great game from JD, man. I love it. All right. Now let's get to the bench. And let's start with Ron Holland, man. Let's start with Ron Holland. Let's start with Ron. At the end of the first half, I was looking to give the game ball to Ron. He didn't have a crazy stat line, but the impact that he had in this game, man, in that second quarter. Okay, so Ron had 8 points, 2 assists, 4 steals. Half of those were like on one possession. And 1 turnover on 3 for 5 shooting in 15 minutes. So, yeah, like I said, man, Ron Holland, after that first half, I was really ready to give him the game ball. And, guys, he has a chance to be really special for this basketball team, man. The way he's able to turn defense into offense as a rookie is insane, He got a steal. One play, he got a steal off of a Fontecchio 3. Fontecchio hit a 3. Ron got the steal, and that led to another 3. Right out of the inbound pass, he got a steal and got Cade another 3. Another possession, he turned Kobe White over. Got the ball to Cade. On the break, got an easy layup. He faked like he's going to run down court and turns around really quickly and knocks away the inbound pass out of Kobe White's hand again. Another turnover. If you've seen Above the Rim, you know what I'm talking about. That's exactly what happened in the movie Above the Rim, where Dwayne Martin scored. He dunked the ball, fake, run down court, turn around real quick, get a steal for another layup. If you guys know what I'm talking about, if I'm dating myself or you guys know what I'm talking about, let me know in the chat if you know exactly what I'm talking about. But that's what Ron did tonight. Let me ask you guys a question. How many plays did Ron have drawn up for him? None. He doesn't need it. He's able to create his own offense off his defense. That's going to be his calling card, I think, for this team at least for now. He's a guy you don't even need to have. Exactly. D Davis, 0. No plays drawn up for him. He didn't need it. He's so good defensively already that he doesn't even need to have plays drawn up for him. It's kind of like how Asar was last year. We say the same thing about Asar Thompson last year. Exactly. Devin know what's up. Exactly. Tupac was in Above the Rim, and that's exactly what happened in that game with Leon. You know, okay, shout out to you, Devin. But yeah, that's with Ron. He's that kind of player. He is the epitome of turning defense into offense. He's so good at it. And with him, I love Ron as well, not just because of what he does as far as execution on the court, but he's able to shift momentum, right? In that second quarter, when the Pistons got down because we allowed them back in the game because the bench offense kind of stagnated. When Ron came in, the momentum shifted. The attitude shifted because he was the reason the Pistons were able to get that lead back. They were down at the end of the first quarter going into the second quarter, midway through the second quarter. They were down. The Bulls were holding on to about a 5-point lead or so. And Ron's energy and his hustle not only affected the scoreboard, but it also got the crowd into it. It got his teammates into it. And the way he was engaging with the crowd after the second time he got the score and the turnover again, he went to the crowd and was like, come on, like get into this game. Help us. And the crowd got crazy loud, right? That is how you maximize your home court advantage. That is how you do it. You make plays and you get the crowd into it. The fact that he's doing this as a rookie, he was the biggest reason that the momentum shifted. And he's been many games the reason that games have shifted. because he comes into the game and gets right to work. Right? He gets right to work. He doesn't waste a second. He's kind of like Isaiah Stewart as a wing. You know when Stu comes to the game every time, you know what you're getting. Every time. He's impactful almost every time. That's Ron, right? Even when Ron isn't shooting the ball well, he's still impactful in other ways because he brings it every single game. That's why he's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere anytime soon because of the intangibles, the things that he brings to the court, the things that he can do for your basketball team. Ron Holland, man, very, very impressive. Very, very impressive. I continue to be amazed by him. And I'll say this as a closing remark on Ron. On every draft board this past draft, each and every one of those draft boards had his G League Ignite teammate, Matas Buzelis, who played for the Bulls tonight, right? Every draft board had his teammate going above him, going ahead of him. Nobody and their mama thought Ron Holland was going to go number 5 overall, myself included. I did not think the Pistons were going to take Ron Holland with the 5th pick. I thought they might take his teammate. But from the early returns, give me Ron Holland. Give me Ron Holland, man. Not just because of his NBA skill, but because of his NBA will. His impact, man. Something he does things you just can't teach. You just cannot teach him. Let me take a little break here. I see something about Detroit Pistons stuff. Let me see. What did somebody say that really caught my eye? Sorry, off topic, but wouldn't it be cool if the next Detroit shot coach would be Doug? I said this in my last stream. My last stream, I talked about that. I said I would love Neil Ivey and Cheryl Ford to be the coaches for the Shock once they come back. So that'd be so poetic because of Jaden. Him and his mom in the same building. That'd be crazy. Her going to his games, him going to her games. That would be awesome. That'd be awesome. And I would absolutely love to see that. 100%. All right, had to chime in on that because I did see that. All right, guys. If I miss your comments, I'm sorry. I'm getting them as many as I can. Like I mentioned before, I'm working on getting a moderator who can help me get through these comments. So in the meantime, between time, if you don't see me reply to your comment, put it in there again, or put it in caps, or send a super chat, or whatever you think will grab my attention. Just do it, and I'll do my best. I'm not trying to ignore you. I promise. Just doing the best I can. Doug, what's your preference? Deuce, what's your preference on trade day if no Lonzo? If no Lonzo, Dennis Jenkins. Like if we don't get anybody, is that what you're saying? If we don't get anybody, which I think would be not a good idea because someone informed me that if you don't use your cap space in the off, you can't really use it. It's kind of rendered useless. So I personally would hope the Pistons would look to use it to get somebody. But if they don't, Dennis Jenkins. Right? We talked about guys in the summer league who have been effective and impactful. One of those guys being Bobby Klintman. The other guy who gets slept on so much is point guard Dennis Jenkins. Athletic, defensive, smart, steady, can shoot the ball pretty good, scrappy. And he's pretty good at orchestrating the offense and steadying the offense from what I've seen from him. I've seen him in summer league and I've seen him in Motor City Cruise games. Balling. So that would be my backup plan if we don't get Lonzo or anybody else at that backup spot. That's what I would look to do. Because even though the Pistons are trying to manage it together with their guards and forwards currently, it's not consistent enough offense. It's not consistent enough. You're going to have too many offensive lulls, in my opinion, trying to go with that formula. You need somebody who can just steady the offense and allow everybody else to do what they're most comfortable doing in those roles, instead of asking all of those guys collectively to do a little ball handling and a little facilitating. I don't want to see that. So that's what I would do if I were you. Good question, Doug. Good question. Okay, let's get back to this box. Who else we got? We left off with Ron Holland, right? Okay, yeah. Okay, guys, Simone Fontecchio. Let's talk about it, right? You guys know the drill. You know the drill. With Fontecchio, you know what I said before. You know what I'm looking for. You know the things that he does well. And by this point, you know the things that he does not do well. So tonight, Fontecchio had 11 points, 4 boards, 1 block, 1 turnover on 3 for 6 shooting, 2 of 4 from 3, 3 for 3 from the free throw line in 18 minutes. So Fontecchio played well. Stat-wise, he played I can't even do that. I can't even say stat-wise because he played a good game. First of all, defensively, he continues to play well. There's never an issue of effort. when it comes to Fontecchio, especially defensively. There's never an effort issue. And you can tell that he was trained overseas to play good defense, solid defense, go all out defensively, because he does it all the time. Whether he's making sure he's not getting caught on back doors, or he's fighting through screens, or he's moving his feet. Like he plays really fundamental defense. I love the defense we're getting from Fontecchio, right? Offensively, though, like I always say, I just want him to do what he does best. I don't know how many times I've said that on this podcast now, but I just want him to focus on the things that he does best. And that's just shooting the basketball. When he's catching and shooting, he is at his best. And he's very, very impactful because he can get hot. He can get hot. Once he catches a rhythm, he can get hot. But when he's doing things like trying to put the ball on the floor and trying to finish, he put the ball on the floor. He had an open three one time in the corner. Didn't take it. Pump fake, go to the basket, tried to dunk. Got blocked by Patrick Williams. Patrick Williams blocked the shot. But then on the next two possessions, Cade got him an open shot. He didn't think twice and he got it up. Knocked both of them down. So it's like the proof is in the pudding. It continues to be in the pudding. Like it continues to be obvious that once he just sticks to that. And once again, that's why I also think the Pistons need to get a backup point guard. Because sometimes when you have this team who doesn't have a backup point guard currently, and like I mentioned, you have other guys who are trying to, in a pinch, do other things out of their scope offensively, the Beasleys or the Tobias Harrises or the Ron Hollands or whoever is in there. When you see those guys trying to ball handle and do things like that, it's going to make you want to do it too. But Fontecchio is just not the guy for that. Even though none of those guys are really the guy for that, I'd much rather Beasley put the ball on the floor, or even Holland put the ball on the floor, or Sarr, or Tobias. I'd much rather those guys put the ball on the floor because they've shown in a pinch that they can do it. But it seems like more times than not, when Fontecchio is doing that, it doesn't result in a bucket. It's either a bad shot or a turnover. And that's what happened tonight. So once again, I just want him to focus on shooting the basketball. And one thing that will help him to do that is getting a backup point guard. So that way, nobody else really has to focus on facilitating and he can just do what he does best. But aside from that, I got to give him credit. He played solid. He played a solid game tonight. He shot the ball fairly well, 50% from three, 50% overall, didn't miss a free throw, played good defense. Like he can be really good player for this team as long as he just stops getting in his own way. And like I said, one thing that'll help him is a backup point guard. So Lonzo, come on. Let's bring him over. Let's make it happen. All right. Two more guys we got to get to, and then we're going to call it a night. Isaiah Stewart came back from his first game from suspension and had 4 points, 4 boards, 2 assists, 1 foul on 2 for 3 shooting, 18 minutes. So it wasn't crazy impactful tonight, but he came back and got right back to what he does. Right? Got right back to what he does. Played solid defense. Sprinted down the court. There was one play where one of his buckets where did he get the rebound? It was somebody got the rebound. I think he got the rebound, got it to Cade, and sprinted down the court because he saw Vucevic was just kind of jogging. So he sprinted down the court. It looked like Ben Wallace the way he was running with that herky jerk run. It looked like how Ben Wallace used to run. But he sprinted down the court, right? And I think it was Asar. Asar found him for an easy pass, or maybe it was Cade, whoever it was. They found him for an easy bucket. He cut to the rim, ran down the court, got the ball, laid it up. Like that type of effort, I love to see it. And I absolutely love when your big sprints down the court like that and he gets rewarded for it with an easy shot. Because that means next time he's going to do it again. And next time he's going to do it again. But Stu would do it anyway because that's just how Stu is. But other guys on his team, like even JD, who's still building that consistency, when you reward your big for running the floor, it's going to make your big run the floor. So I love Isaiah Stewart's motor. I love his motor, and he continues to bring that edge, and he got right back to it. It wasn't any issues tonight, right? No technical fouls, no getting into it with anybody. So I think his lesson was learned from the game when he got the flagrant foul against the Pacers, and it seems like he's really beginning to understand, okay, let me just chill out a little bit. I don't want to hurt my team. I'm sure Stu wanted to be there to give the WWE belt to Cade in person. Right? They gave it to him in the locker room on FaceTime, right? Stu gave him the belt, like on FaceTime, like hanging it to him on FaceTime. But I'm sure Stu wanted to be there to actually give him that belt. So I just hope that Stu continues to play the way he's playing, but play with a channeled energy, a channeled passion, a channeled fire. He does that, he's going to be just fine for the rest of the season. Good game from Stu. And lastly, Marcus Sasser. 2 points, 5 assists, 2 turnovers, 1 for 4 shooting, 0 for 2 from 3-point in 14 minutes. So Sasser didn't have it going offensively as far as his scoring, but I got to give him credit. He made some solid plays. There were times when the Pistons offense did get stagnant, but there were also times when he made the right play. And I got to give him credit for that. He didn't have a great shooting night. He didn't make a three, only 25% from the floor, but he's made passes and made good plays for other guys. And for that, I got to give him credit because he didn't get down on himself just because he wasn't scoring the basketball. He didn't stop playing defense, tough defense, because the shot wasn't going. He was still doing things to affect winning. And I have to give him credit for that because he plays with a high motor. He's a pit bull. He plays exactly. Boat right, Dwayne. He's pure energy. Whether he's scoring or not, he's pure energy. And I love that. The same way Ron is pure energy, right? It's just that Sasser will benefit more offensively if he has a point guard next to him, right? We understand he's not a point guard. He's a shooting guard in a point guard's body. So he has to play hard. He has to play with energy. He has to play above and beyond because he's not the biggest guy in the world. But when he does that, he's effective. He's solid, right? He's not there yet, but he's doing enough for us to win basketball games just by playing at that level, just by looking to get guys involved. And he's doing a better job of that because early in the season, if he wasn't getting his own offense, he really wasn't effective at all because he wasn't really helping other guys get their offense going. But tonight, and even last game, he's been doing a better job of facilitating and understanding the offense, making crisp passes when guys come off screens for easy shots, right? Last game, that's what he did. So he continues to understand the offense. He's getting better. He's improving, but the motor is always up here. If the motor is always up here, I can live with him making mistakes every now and then as he continues to learn the offense because you know the defense is going to be there and the energy is going to be there. If the effort's there, how can you argue it, right? So, yeah, man, good game from Sasser. Even though the stat sheet doesn't show a great game, he really contributed to this win. So I got to give him credit for that. Yeah, so let's get to this Lonzo talk, man. Who here wants Lonzo Ball on his team? What did you guys think about Lonzo's performance tonight? Let's look at what he did tonight. Tonight, Lonzo had 13 points, 4 boards, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 turnover, on 3 for 8 shooting, 3 for 8 from 3. So all of his shots were from the 3-point line tonight, and 4 from the field. So, like I mentioned, man, a lot of the things that the Pistons need him to do, or that the Pistons need, he can do them. He's a good defender. He's a good shooter, thanks to Fred Vinson, which if he comes here, that's only going to continue to improve, right? Good facilitator. He made some nice passes out of pick and roll tonight. He made a pass out of pick and roll with Vucevic that fooled Asar, where he thought Vucevic was going to cut to the basket because of how he passed it. He pushed the ball forward like he was going to throw it to a pass to somebody who was cutting, and he looped it back. And it caught Asar off guard. Asar cut to the basket because he thought Vuce was cutting, but he turned around, and by the time he realized that Vuce was getting a shot up. So Lonzo's crafty, man. He's crafty. And he's a good rebounder, too. He's 6'5". He's a good rebounder for his size. So I would love to have Zoe here. I absolutely would. He didn't have a great game, but you see his impact. You see his impact, man. I would love to have him here. MB Well says, do it. I love the idea. He'd be solid for his role, but I want more. So, Devin, I'm guessing you want a starting shooting guard because you're not confident Jaden's going to be back in time for the season? Is that what you're thinking? Lonzo, Cade, Asar, Ron, Stu would be a great... Yes, it would be. Absolutely. Absolutely. That would be great. I would love to see something like that. Off the bench, or the second unit, right? As soon as you get guys coming out and coming in, that would be a great second unit for sure. The thing about Zoe is if he plays bad, we can always adjust his... Of course. I'm only looking for about 15 minutes from Lonzo. What did he play tonight? How many minutes did he have tonight? He played 28 tonight. I'm not looking for that from him. I'm looking for half of that, right? I'm looking for half of that. That's literally all I want to see from Lonzo. It's just hold the fort down when Cade sits down. That's literally it. I don't want Cade scoreboard watching and clock watching to see if the lead we have is disappearing or if the deficit we're in is ballooning. I want Cade to be able to sit down and just watch the game. That's it. Not coming in a minute and a half later because we had to call timeout and our lead is gone or the game is getting away from us. No, I don't want that. I don't care about that. That's not what I want to see. I want somebody to hold the fort down, either hold and maintain the lead or build on it. If we're down, either hold the deficit to where it is or cut into it. Just hold the fort down. That's literally all I want to see from him. So I think that would be a great move. Devin Bishop says, you know what? I have to do my research on, I still have not done research on Santi. Tonight, I'm going to research him. I do not know much about him. I'm hearing about his name, or hearing his name more and more. So I'm definitely going to take a look at that. D. Davis, right. But once again, D. Davis, that's why I only want him playing 15 minutes. If he's playing 15 minutes a game, the idea or potential of him getting hurt, the likelihood goes way down, right? Because you're managing his minutes. You're not putting too many minutes on his body. You're allowing him to play a very certain role, very small role for this team, but very important role. And then that'll keep him fresh. That'll keep him spry. He'll be very effective when he's in the game because he won't be in the game for a lot of time. So that's what I want to see. Zone means someone has to go, so we will still have a hole somewhere. My guess Tech at the 4. We do still need more. I definitely think we need more. I'm not going to argue that for sure. Low risk, high reward. So yeah, that's really all it is. That's really all it is. Lonzo, expiring exactly. So if it doesn't work out, we can go find a backup point guard in offseason, right? If it does, then we re-sign him. And it shouldn't be breaking the bank because the league is looking around and seeing, yeah, he's injury prone. Yeah, we don't know, don't want to take that risk. That's going to factor into it as well. So if his availability is called into question by other teams, that's going to raise his price point, which should make it easier for the Pistons to get him. So that's what I want to see. I'd rather see Danis in that role. He definitely needs that chance. D, you are preaching to the choir. I have been saying that since Summer League. He stood out like a sore thumb to me, the same way Bobby Clemens stood out like a sore thumb to me. I just watched the way he played. And once again, I know it's Summer League, but like I said before, I'm looking at the things that he's doing. I'm not looking at who he's doing it against. I'm looking at his decision-making. Because sometimes when you watch Summer League, you know, the Stanley Johnsons or the Henry Ellensons of the world, you can get kind of lost in thinking that they're a superstar because of who they're playing against. But if you're looking for the right things, you won't get caught up on who they're playing against. You'll focus on them, their IQ level, their decision-making, their shot-making, the things that they're doing. And the things that I saw Danis Jenkins doing told me enough. And the things that he continues to do in Summer League. They're the same things he was doing, in the regular season for the Motor City Cruise. The things he's doing now are the same things he was doing in Summer League. He's playing the same exact way, and he's getting the same results. So I would definitely love to see him get a shot too. Lonzo would score a lot on this team. He probably would. If anything, I think he would get more assists than anything. His ability to push the ball off the break, because I mentioned Asar Thompson, right? And his ability to grab the rebound and push, that's Lonzo all day. That's what Lonzo does. He's not the same. He's not as good a rebounder as Asar because he's not as big, right? Doesn't jump as high, but he's a good rebounder. He's a big guard. So he can also grab the board and push. He's great with that push, look ahead pass. He's great with that look ahead. He's like a point guard. So imagine him with Asar or a J.I. or a Ron Holland. Imagine how many easy points that would be with him pushing the ball like that. So that's why I want to see him on this team, because he can help us get easy bucket after easy bucket after easy bucket because he has great vision. So that's what I want to see. Let's see. Deuce, what would you give up for CJ? Fontecchio and maybe a few second rounders. I don't want to say. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what the numbers look like as far as the contracts. So maybe you could let me know what CJ is making. Just like player to player, I would love to have him on this team for a guy like Fontecchio because I want to see Bobby Clipman get minutes. That's what I want to see. But yeah, I would give up Fontecchio, Sasser if I have to. If I absolutely have to. I wouldn't want to, but I would love to. But you would need to package. Okay, he said $33 million. I would love to see him in this uniform if we could get him. But I just don't know if, based on this amount, if it'd be worth it to give up what we have to give up. You know, I'm not giving up Stu. I'm not giving up Ron Holland. The way Tobias is playing right now, I don't want to give him up. It's tough. It's tough. If they can make it happen without giving up too much of the young guys, I would definitely do it. But I'm not going to overpay because J.I. at some point is going to come back. If we sign CJ to a multi-year deal, right, or trade for him, is he expiring contract, DG, or no? If he's an expiring contract, I would do it because basically, if Jaden was here, we wouldn't be looking at resigning or to trading for McCollum. We wouldn't even be looking at it. It wouldn't even be a thought. We're only doing that because there's a hole at that spot, at the shooting guard / backup point guard spot, which Jaden filled, right? So it just depends on that as well. He's got one more year. So yeah, if it's going to cost too much, I'm not going to do it. I know Marvin's Road is saying THJ and Fontecchio. I don't know because, I mean, maybe. But the fact that he's in a multi-year deal is making me feel like maybe not, because when Jaden comes back, what does that mean? In my mind, when Jaden comes back, Jaden is starting, period. Maybe give him a few games or a few weeks to, to get back in the games, to get NBA speed and getting his legs under him and his timing and his win back like we're doing Asar. Cool. But long term, Jaden's a starter. He's a starter. So the question then becomes, how much are you paying CJ? Like, you basically, if he's extended until the end of next season, you're paying him $33 million to be a bench guy. No, I'm not doing that. So that's why I would not look at CJ for that price point, because Jaden's coming back. Whether it's this year or next year, he's coming back. So let's just say he came back next year. Say he didn't come back at all this year and he came back next year. It doesn't make sense to pay a guy $33 million to come off your bench. If he's starting, that means Jaden's on the bench. So it just doesn't make sense. If it's for the rest of this year, I'm doing it. Because if Jaden's out, I need somebody for the rest of this year just to kind of bridge the gap. And then at the end of the season, you get Jaden back, you get that $33 million back, and now you can go move accordingly. But if it's for a longer period of time, I'm straight. Does CJ's offense make up for THJ two-way play? That's another point. We just talked about Tim Hardaway Jr. and how well he's been playing defensively, right? He's given up his body. Now, we know CJ is a great offensive player, better than Tim Hardaway Jr. in my opinion. He's better offensively, right? He can score in more ways, more consistent shooter, but defensively you lose a lot. And what type of team are we? What are we first? What did JB Bickerstaff say in the locker room last game? It starts with our defense, that leads to our offense. That sounds just like Larry Brown. That sounds just like Rick Carlisle when he was here. That sounds just like Chuck Daly when he was here. That's always been our mentality. It's defense first. So once again, does it make sense? Are you willing to sacrifice Tim Hardaway's his impact on his team for $33 million when you also may be affecting Jaden Ivey when he comes back? It doesn't make sense. You see what I'm saying? If it's expiring for this season, makes a ton more sense. But with another year, it just creates an issue at that shooting guard spot that I don't want to have. For $33 million, no thanks. No thanks. Let's see. The Private Eye says, we'll do a few more. We'll get out of here, y'all. THJ Fontecchio and a second-round draft pick for Ingram. Guys, I have nothing against Brandon Ingram. I do not. But we just talked about availability, right? Like, if we're going to bring Lonzo Ball here, who has been injury prone, it's going to be in a small role, right? 15 minutes a game. I don't want to put one of my starters who has the same level of being injured, like same proneness to being injury as Lonzo, pretty much. Not quite, but you know what I'm saying. He's hurt a lot. I don't want to give up that much cap room money. And he doesn't play. He's not committed, from what I've seen, to the defensive end, right? At least Tobias is committed to the defensive end. Every game, he's committed to the defensive end of the court. All of our starters have been committed to the defensive end of the court. Cade, Tim Hardaway Jr., Asar, JD, Tobias, they're all committed to that end because that's what coach wants. I don't know if Brandon Ingram is committed to defense, regardless of what it gives you offensively. I would rather struggle a little bit offensively to make sure I'm not sacrificing the defense. That's how important defense is to this team. It's that important. So that's why I'm not a really big Brandon Ingram fan, is because his availability has not been there, and the defensive mindset, in my opinion, is not there. So, and for that much money, it doesn't fit the culture. Corey just said it. It doesn't fit the culture, in my opinion. He's a very talented player, very good player. But because I'd rather not. Because he likes one of his bread and butter actions is this post game. I feel like that slows down the offense. I feel like that slows down the ball movement, right? Even Tobias can post, but he's not just posting all the time. He's cutting, he's running off. You know what I mean? So, like, I don't know if that would really help the offense the way we think it would. On paper, it would, because he can average 20 points. But the way we run our offense, does it really help? If he's not scoring, is he sprinting back on defense? Those are the things I'm looking at. Is he taking charges? It's different things you got to look at other than just scoring the basketball. So that's why I'm not really a fan of getting him, because even though he can give us an offensive punch, it's like, at what cost? What are we losing? Not just what are we gaining. It's like CJ McCollum. What are we losing? Both of those guys, in my opinion, were losing defense. And that's who we are. So even though it gives us more offense, I don't want to sacrifice any defense. That's my take on BI. And he might think it's his team. You know what? I can't say for sure if he would or not. But even if that's a thought, bye-bye. Because he's not better than Cade. Straight up. He's not better than Cade. So I don't even want any issues like that. Be patient. If LA rushed for Butler, they wouldn't have Luka now. Great point. Great point. Who would have thought the Dallas Mavericks would have called the Lakers and asked, do you want him? The Lakers didn't even have to give up as much as they maybe would have, because the Lakers didn't make the call. Whoever makes the call to another team, they have less leverage. Whoever is picking up the phone regarding a trade, they have the leverage, because they know that whoever's calling them is looking to get rid of whatever they have on their team, or to make a move to, you know what I mean? They're looking for your help to make this happen. So the Lakers didn't even have to give up both of their first round picks. They only lost one first round pick to go along with Anthony Davis and Max Christie. The Lakers can still make moves. They have that number one pick, or that first round pick still. So to your point, Devin, that's a great point. Patience is key, especially with a young team. That's exactly why I was saying, don't trade Jalen Duren, who's 21 years old. We're not even contending yet. Why? He's 21. Third coach, 3 years, 21 years old, no consistency, no continuity on his team, no coach that cares. Why? What's the problem? So that's exactly why I would not make that kind of move. Absolutely not. So patience is key when you have a young team. 100%. We are building a winning team, not a stat team. 100%, Chuck. 100%. 100%. Yeah. So we're going to end it with that, guys. Definitely wanted to get in here and talk this win. This was a good win. I want to say this too, though, because the Pistons are now putting themselves in position to where they can really go on a run here. They can really go on another streak. I believe the longest streak of the season is 5 wins, right? But if you take a look at the Pistons' next 8 games, I'm going to show you guys as well, because the Pistons have a chance to really go on a run here. They have a chance to break the streak that was set in 2015, and as far as winning 6 games. I think that's the longest streak we've had in 10 years. In 2015, when Brandon Jennings hit that shot over Tim Duncan against the Spurs on the road, that game winner. That was the last time the Pistons won 6 games in a row. And they have a chance now, in my opinion, after winning 2 straight, to break that streak. So let's take a look here at the games they have coming up, starting with tomorrow's game. So they won the last 2, right? They play the Hawks, and they play the Cavs. That's going to be a toughie. Then the Sixers, then the Hornets, then the Bulls again, Spurs, Hawks. So if they can somehow get this game against Cleveland, because I think they'll beat the Hawks tomorrow. Let's just say they do. All right, but 2 wins in a row. This should be a win against the Hawks. if they can get this game, this will be 4 wins. This is the one I'll have circled on my calendar. Not overlooking this game, but this is the one I'm paying attention to right here. If we can get this win, we win 4 in a row. This should be a win against the Sixers with no Embiid, no PG. This should be a win for obvious reasons against the Hornets. Now we're at 6. This can be a win at 7 against the Bulls. And this could be a win at 8. This also could be a win here against the Spurs. And this also could be a win here against the Hawks. So the Pistons guys have a chance to go on a run. And I want to shout out my boy, Eric Vincent. Eric Vincent, he was the one that pointed out to me on Twitter the Pistons schedule coming up. They have a chance now to really go on a run here over this next week or two. And if they can get that win against Cleveland, they can go on a long streak. They really can. And you know this young team with a lot to prove, once they have a streak going, they're going to want to continue to push and push and push and push. So even if they don't win that game against the Cavaliers, they definitely should have more than a 1-game over 500 record by 2 weeks from now. When we come to mid-February, we should be 5 or 6 games over 500, in my opinion. That is where I see us. We can be close to 30 wins, or we should be at 30 wins possibly by February 15th. Could very well happen. So that's what I'm looking up. That's what I'm looking for. That's going to be a very important period for the Pistons. This period right here, this stretch is going to be very important as far as the Pistons and figuring out where their seeding is going to be for the playoffs. So we're going to leave it there. It's been a great show with you guys. I always love talking with y'all, man. The Pistons, once again, they get a win tonight over the Chicago Bulls, 127-119. And now they look to stretch their win streak to 3 games when they play the Atlanta Hawks tomorrow night at home. So I will be here live after tomorrow's game. I hope to see you guys here as well. I appreciate all you guys' support as always. And until next time, Detroit versus everybody. Peace.